We continue with interest rates. Now, I want to go into how changes in interest rates will impact on the Irish economy. Not only the Irish economy, all economy. So when we talk about changes in interest rates, please stop writing. I'm talking, don't write, please. Pens down. When we talk about changes in interest rates, pen down. When we talk about changes in interest rates, simply means a rise or a fall in the interest rate. So we're going to start with a rise in the interest rate, which means an increase in the interest rate. An increase in the interest rate will bring about discouraging borrowing. And when we talk about borrowing, it simply means we're taking a loan from the bank. We are borrowers. So borrowers are worse off, not better off, like you asked the other time. I'm talking to you. You said borrowers are supposed to be better off. They are not better off because we are talking about a situation that will make them to make a decision. So they're not going to make this decision of borrowing because if they do borrow, they will become worse off. Does it make sense to you now? So she was saying if they don't borrow, they should be better off, but they're not going to be better off because I told you in the previous slide, I said whatever happens in life, we make decisions. So whenever we have to make decisions, we think about the consequence of the decision we are making. We call it cost benefit. Cost benefit analysis. This is how we make decisions. So if I'm going to do this, what is the consequence of doing this? What are the benefits of doing this? What are the disadvantages of doing this? The cost. So you have to, hello, please focus here. We have to wait, we have to understand the advantages, the disadvantages before we make a decision. That is the point here. So as soon as the interest rate increases, borrowers, those who think about borrowing, would not want to borrow because it is expensive for them to borrow. A high interest rate increases the cost of borrowing, therefore discourages borrowers. Do you understand the first point here? So people that, put your head up please. People that want to borrow, the borrowers will not be able to borrow because it is expensive for them to borrow. Do we understand the first point here? Do we understand or not this? Yes. The second one, saving is encouraged. A rise in the interest rate makes it beneficial to save more. So savers are better off. So when you save at this point, when you make decisions about saving, it is profitable for you to save at this point. So savers are what? Better off. Do you get the difference now? Yeah. Borrowers will be worse off, they're not going to borrow. It discourages borrowing. Savers are going to be better off because it encourages them to borrow or to save, based on the fact that it is beneficial and profitable to save. A high interest rate encourages saving. A high interest rate discourages borrowing and it brings about inflation. How does it bring about inflation? It brings about inflation because at that point in time, supply will be less than demand. People would want to buy things, but borrowers who need to borrow for investment would not be able to borrow, so there will be scarcity. And scarcity will bring about a hike in price. Does it make sense now, please? An increase in borrowing, and an increase in the interest rate discourages borrowing. So, those who have to borrow for investment, would not be able to borrow. As a result of that, investment reduces within the economy. And as soon as investment reduces within the economy, inflation will rise because demand will be more than supply. Demand exceeds supply. Does it make sense, please? For savers, they will be better off because it encourages them from saving. It encourages them to save. They save more. Any questions about this? No. The third one, cost of production. An increase in interest rate means firms that have to pay interest on maybe their mortgage or the loans they had previously taken would increase their expenses. Get the point here. As soon as interest rate increases, some firms would have borrowed before the increase in the interest rate. So which simply means the interest they have to pay year in, year out will increase. I think you know trading account. The trading account, right? Profit and loss account. We have expenses. One of the items in the expenses account is interest. Yes or no for the student who do accounting. So if the interest rate increases, it means your expenses would rise. And that affects your profit. It reduces your profit. So your net profit, which is gross profit minus expenses, your expenses will now start increasing. So an increase in interest rates will bring about an increase in the cost of production based on the fact that expenses through interest would have increased for firms. So what do? They might pass on that price, that high cost of production to consumers as a high price. So if the cost of production for firms increases, they pass it on to customers at a higher price. Do we get it or not? If firms incur an increase in their cost of production, they would as well produce. But as soon as they produce, they pass it on to we consumers as a high price. Do we get it? So that means there's inflation. The next one, incentive to invest. An increase in the interest rate means to invest becomes expensive. So few firms will be able to invest, not all firms. Firms that are financially buoyant will be able to invest. But firms that need to borrow for investment would not be able to borrow. So investment reduces within the economy. And as soon as investment reduces, it drops the GDP of the country. You know what the GDP is, right? The gross domestic product. As soon as investment reduces, it means output within the economy reduces. And if output reduces, GDP reduces, yes? Invest. Buying capital goods, purchasing capital goods. And when we talk about capital goods, we're talking about offices, equipment, machines, things that you use to produce other goods. That's what investment is about. Investment simply means you purchase what? Capital goods. And when we talk about capital goods, we're talking about goods that help us to produce other goods. Is investment clear here? So as soon as investment increases, output increases. But based on the fact that there's a fall in investment, output what? Falls. Which means a rise in interest rates will bring about a fall in a country's GDP. Is it clear? Yeah. And the next one, economic growth, is dampened or affected. Low investment and less disposable income. These are two things. If interest rate increases, people would rather save than borrow, yes or no? People would rather save than borrow, yes or no? I'm asking you, please. As soon as interest rate increases, do you save or you borrow? You save. Right? You save. Good. So when you save, do you have money with you?
Yes. No.
When you save, do you have money with you?
Yes.
No. It's saved. You can't eat your cake and have it. You save, you don't have it with you. Yes or no, please?
Yes.
We need to understand the nitty-gritty about what we're talking about here. When you save your money, it means the money is not with you anymore to spend. Yes or no? So that means your disposable income reduces. What is disposable income?
What?
Disposable income.
Like extra income after taxes and everything to spend.
To spend or to save. Disposable, yeah, it's an extra income. That is what is. Sorry, please. Focus here, please. Hello? Hello? Focus here.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Disposable income is that income that we can either spend or save. So because the interest rate is increasing, what's this, please? Hello? Stop that, it's a classroom here. It's a classroom. What I'm saying is that there is disposable income, which is what we can either spend or save. As soon as interest rate increases, it encourages us to save than to spend. So that reduces our disposable income. That is the point here. So a fall in disposable income affects the economy because aggregate demand would fall. And as soon as aggregate demand falls, it means output would reduce. Firms will not be able to make revenue as they used to make. Get how it works. An increase in disposable income means we can spend more. When we spend more, the aggregate demand within the economy increases. And what is aggregate demand? Aggregate demand is C plus I plus G plus X minus N. This is what aggregate demand is. Because this is going to increase, it increases output and economy in the output and economy. If this increases, it means there's going to be economic growth. But if this falls, it affects the economy. Do we get it now, please?
Yes.
And the last one, revenue received. The government of Ireland, there's what we call deposit interest retention saving. This is a tax you pay as a saver. Because people start saving more based on the fact that the interest rate increases, government revenue would increase in terms of DIRT. Do you get the point I'm making here? The government of Ireland charges, levy tax on savers. And when would they be able to make revenue from savers? They'll be able to make revenue from savers if the interest rate increases. Because an increase in interest rate increases or encourages savers to save more. So the more you save, the more revenue the government of Ireland will get. Does it make sense to you? Is it clear, please? So these are the consequences or the impacts of an increase in interest rates when it comes to the economy of Ireland. Any question? Thank you. We have 5